Today, I'm challenging myself to see if faith can actually fuel my healthy eating habits for an entire week. Let's find out if I can stick to it. As I dive into this challenge, I'm reminded that faith isn't just about spiritual practices. It can also profoundly impact our daily choices, including what we eat. For many, faith is a source of strength and guidance that can extend into all areas of life, including health and wellness. It's about finding a deeper purpose in the choices we make every day. Faith for many is a guiding light that shines into every corner of life, even into the kitchen, where our daily meals take shape. The relationship between faith and food preparation is as old as human civilization itself, woven through rituals, traditions, in the very act of nourishing ourselves and our loved ones. For people of faith, meal prep is so much more than chopping vegetables or following a recipe. It becomes a sacred act, a form of worship, and a channel for gratitude, mindfulness, and connection. At the heart of it all, faith imbues meal prep with intention. Preparing food is no longer a mundane task or an item to tick off a to-do list. Instead, it becomes an opportunity to pause, reflect, and acknowledge the abundance provided. Whether you pray before chopping, meditate while stirring, or simply hold a quiet sense of gratitude in your heart, faith transforms the process. It reminds you that every ingredient is a gift, every meal an act of grace. For many, it begins with gratitude. As you open your pantry or refrigerator, you might take a moment to give thanks for the earth that grew your vegetables, for the hands that harvested them, for the resources that allowed you to provide for yourself and your family. In this way, faith invites you to see beyond the surface of your ingredients. A loaf of bread is not just bread, it's the culmination of rain, sun, soil, labor, and divine providence. This deep sense of gratitude can turn a simple meal into a celebration of life's interconnectedness. Faith also brings intention to the act of nourishment. Many religious traditions emphasize caring for the body as a temple or sacred vessel. When you meal prep with faith, you might find yourself more mindful of the choices you make. You might ask, am I feeding my body in a way that honors its sacredness? Am I choosing wholesome, nourishing foods that support my well-being and the well-being of those I love? Faith can inspire you to select ingredients that are not only delicious, but also nourishing and ethical, reflecting your values and beliefs. For countless families, meal prep is interwoven with rituals and traditions passed down through generations. Recipes become more than instructions. They are links to the past, reminders of ancestors who once stood at a stove or hearth, seasoning food with both spices and prayers. Preparing a traditional dish for a religious holiday, for example, can be a way of honoring those who came before and keeping their memory alive. The familiar smells and flavors evoke a sense of continuity and belonging. In this way, faith anchors meal prep in heritage and community, creating a sense of sacred time and space. Faith can also be a source of strength and comfort, especially in difficult times. When life feels overwhelming or uncertain, the simple act of preparing a meal can become a form of prayer or meditation. The rhythm of chopping, stirring, and seasoning can help calm the mind and center the spirit. Some people find solace in reciting prayers or scriptures as they cook, infusing the food with words of hope and blessing. Others may dedicate the act of cooking to someone in need, offering up their labor as a gesture of love or intercession. Hospitality is another area where faith and food meet. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of welcoming the stranger, feeding the hungry, and sharing what you have. When you prepare a meal for others, especially for those in need, you are living out these teachings in a tangible way. Whether you're inviting friends to your table, bringing food to a neighbor, or volunteering at a soup kitchen, faith can inspire acts of generosity and compassion. In these moments, meal prep becomes an act of service and community building, a way to embody the values of love, kindness, and inclusion. For some, faith guides not only what is cooked, but how food is prepared and consumed. Dietary laws and guidelines, such as kosher, halal, or vegetarian practices, reflect deeply held beliefs about purity, stewardship, and respect for creation. Adhering to these guidelines can be an act of devotion, a way of aligning everyday choices with spiritual principles. Even those without formal dietary restrictions may find that their faith encourages mindful eating, slowing down, savoring each bite, and recognizing the sacredness of the meal. Mindfulness, too, is a thread that runs through faith-based meal prep. Many spiritual traditions teach the value of being present in the moment, of turning everyday activities into opportunities for prayer or meditation. As you wash vegetables, knead dough, or set the table, you might practice being fully present, appreciating the textures, colors, and smells. This mindful approach can deepen your sense of connection to yourself, to those you're feeding, and to the divine. It can turn the kitchen into a sanctuary, a place where the sacred and the ordinary meet. Faith can also offer guidance in times of abundance and in times of want. When the pantry is full, it prompts gratitude and generosity, sharing what you have, wasting less, and giving to those in need. When resources are scarce, faith can foster creativity, resilience, and hope. It reminds you that you are not alone, that you are cared for, and that even a simple meal can be a source of blessing. In both situations, faith shapes your attitude toward food and meal prep, encouraging balance, moderation, and trust in divine provision. In some cultures, the act of blessing food before eating is an essential ritual. Saying grace or offering thanks before a meal is a way of acknowledging the source of your nourishment and inviting a sense of sacredness into the ordinary. This ritual doesn't have to be elaborate. A simple pause, a few heartfelt words, or even a silent moment of reflection can transform the act of eating into an act of worship. Involving children in these rituals can teach them to appreciate food, to recognize its value, and to understand the deeper connections between faith and daily life. Meal prep can also become a form of spiritual discipline. For those who observe fasting or abstain from certain foods at specific times, the act of preparing and eating food takes on new meaning. It becomes a practice of self-control, reflection, and alignment with spiritual goals. The discipline of restraint can deepen one's understanding of dependence on something greater, fostering humility and compassion for those who face hunger not by choice, but by circumstance. For people living in multicultural or interfaith households, meal prep can become a space for dialogue and discovery. Sharing recipes, traditions, and rituals from different faith backgrounds can foster understanding and respect. It can be a way of celebrating diversity, finding common ground, and building bridges across differences. The kitchen becomes a place where stories are shared, values are explored, and relationships are deepened. Faith can also inspire a sense of stewardship and responsibility toward the environment. Many spiritual teachings emphasize caring for the earth and its creatures. When you meal prep with an awareness of your faith's teachings on stewardship, you might choose locally grown produce, reduce food waste, or opt for sustainable practices. In this way, meal prep becomes an act of respect for creation, a way of honoring the interconnected web of life. Ultimately, the role of faith in your meal prep is deeply personal. It's shaped by your beliefs, traditions, and experiences. It might show up in quiet ways, a whispered prayer, a moment of gratitude, a thoughtful choice at the grocery store. Or it might be woven into larger rituals and celebrations, where food and faith come together in joyful community. However it manifests, faith has the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, to turn a simple meal into a feast for the soul. As you stand at your counter, knife in hand, ingredients arrayed before you, consider the ways faith might be guiding your hands and heart. Perhaps it's in the patience you bring to the process, the love you pour into each dish, or the hope and healing you seek to offer. Maybe it's in the stories you remember, the blessings you recite, or the sense of purpose that infuses your work. No matter your tradition or beliefs, meal prep can be a sacred act, a moment to pause, give thanks, and connect with something greater than yourself. It's a chance to honor the gifts you have been given, to care for your body and those you love, and to bring a sense of holiness into the everyday. Through faith, food becomes more than sustenance. It becomes a source of connection, celebration, and meaning. So the next time you step into your kitchen, take a moment to reflect. What role does faith play in your meal prep? How might your beliefs and values shape the way you nourish yourself and others? In answering these questions, you may find that every meal, no matter how simple, can be a testament to gratitude, love, and the sacredness of daily life. In summary, faith can indeed be a powerful ally in achieving and maintaining healthy eating habits. It's not just about following dietary rules. It's about finding a deeper purpose and connection to our choices. If you're curious about how faith has impacted your or someone else's eating habits, share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, check out my other video on how to plan a healthy diet for more tips and inspiration.